people, that's a good thing, because that means that you are not going to be a bullier.
The one makes me cry, or like the one principal.
Corey.
Yeah.
Oh, big one.
What do they do other than
I'm already proud of it.
just like, it was someone heard of
Video. Have you ever seen the video of the people making fun of?
You guys hear this?
yeah.
Karen was in there, I'll be able to see it too. Karen, go sit on the couch. Or on the floor.
Floor rolls.
No.
Okay, I'll still.
Shut up. It's invisible.
So many of you.
Turn it all the way up.
When I was a kid, I hid my heart under the bed because my mother said, if you're not careful, someday someone's gonna break it. Take it from me, under the bed is not a good hiding spot. I know because I've been shot down so many times. I get altitude sickness just from standing up for myself. But that's what we were told. Stand up for yourself. That's hard to do if you don't know who you are. We were expected to define ourselves at such an early age. And if we didn't do it, others did it for us. Geek, fatty, slut, fag. And at the same time we were being told what we were being asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always thought that was an unfair question. It presupposes that we can't be what we already are. We were kids. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a man. I wanted a registered retirement savings plan that would keep me in candy long enough to make old age sweet. When I was a kid, I wanted to shave. Now, not so much.
You can tell.
When I was 8, I wanted to be a marine biologist. When I was 9, I saw the movie Jaws and thought to myself, no thank you. When I was 10, I was told that my parents left because they didn't want me. When I was 11, I wanted to be left alone. When I was 12, I wanted to die. When I was 13, I wanted to kill a kid. When I was 14, I was asked to seriously consider a career path. I said, I'd like to be a writer. And they said, choose something realistic. So I said, professional wrestler. And they said, don't be stupid. See, they asked me what I wanted to be, then told me what not to be. And I wasn't the only one. We were being told that we somehow must become what we are not, sacrificing what we are to inherit the masquerade of what we will be. I was being told to accept the identity that others will give me. And I wondered what made my dreams so easy to dismiss. Granted, my dreams are shy, because they're Canadian. My dreams are self-conscious and overly apologetic. They're standing alone at the high school dance, and they've never been kissed. See, my dreams got called names too. Silly, foolish, impossible. But I kept dreaming. I was going to be a wrestler. I had it all figured out. I was going to be the garbage man. My finishing move was going to be the trash compactor. My saying was going to be, I'm taking out the trash. And then this guy, Duke the Dumpster Drosy, stole my entire shtick. I was crushed, as if by a trash compactor. I thought to myself, what now? Where do I turn? Poetry. Like a boomerang, the thing I loved came back to me. One of the first lines of poetry I can remember writing was in response to a world that demanded I hate myself. From age 15 to 18, I hated myself for becoming the thing that I loathed, a bully. When I was 19, I wrote, I will love myself despite the ease with which I lean toward the opposite. Standing up for yourself doesn't have to mean embracing violence. When I was a kid, I traded in homework assignments for friendship, then gave each friend a late slip for never showing up on time, and in most cases, not at all. I gave myself a hall pass to get through each broken promise. And I remember this plan born out of frustration from a kid who kept calling me Yogi, then pointed to my tummy and said, too many picnic baskets. Turns out it's not that hard to trick someone. And one day before class, I said, yeah, you can copy my homework. And I gave him all the wrong answers that I'd written down the night before. He got his paper back expecting a near perfect score and couldn't believe it when he looked across the room at me and held up a 0. I knew I didn't have to hold up my paper of 28 out of 30, but my satisfaction was complete when he looked at me puzzled, and I thought to myself, smarter than the average bear, motherfucker. This is who I am. This is how I stand up for myself. When I was a kid, I used to think that pork chops and karate chops were the same thing. I thought there were more pork chops. And because my grandmother thought it was cute and because they were my favorite, she let me keep doing it. Not really a big deal. One day, before I realized fat kids are not designed to climb trees, I fell out of a tree and bruised the right side of my body. I didn't want to tell my grandmother about it because I was scared I'd get in trouble for playing somewhere I shouldn't have been. A few days later, the gym teacher noticed the bruise and I got sent to the principal's office. From there, I was sent to another small room with a really nice lady who asked me all kinds of questions about my life at home. I saw no reason to lie. As far as I was concerned, life was pretty good. I told her whenever I'm sad, my grandmother gives me karate chops.
Oh, jeez.
This led to a full-scale investigation.
Oh, God.
And I was removed from the house for 3 days. So they finally decided to ask how I got the bruises. News of this silly little story quickly spread through the school, and I earned my first nickname, Pork Chop. To this day, I hate pork chops. I'm not the only kid who grew up this way, surrounded by people who used to say that rhyme about sticks and stones, as if broken bones hurt more than the names we got called, and we got called them all. So we grew up believing no one would ever fall in love with us, that we'd be lonely forever, that we'd never meet someone to make us feel like the sun was something they built for us in their tool shed. So broken heartstrings bled the blues, and we tried to empty ourselves so we'd feel nothing. Don't tell me that hurts less than a broken bone. That an ingrown life is something surgeons can cut away, that there's no way for it to metastasize. It does. She was 8 years old, our first day of grade 3 when she got called ugly. We both got moved to the back of class so we would stop getting bombarded by spitballs. But the school halls were a battleground. We found ourselves outnumbered day after wretched day. We used to stay inside for recess because outside was worse. Outside we'd have to rehearse running away or learn to stay still like statues, giving no clues that we were there in grade 5. They taped a sign to the front of her desk that read, "Beware of dog." To this day, despite a loving husband, she doesn't think she's beautiful because of a birthmark that takes up less than half her face. Kids used to say she looks like a wrong answer that someone tried to erase but couldn't quite get the job done. And they'll never understand that she's raising 2 kids whose definition of beauty begins with the word mom. Because they see her heart before they see her skin, because she'll never always been amazing. He was a broken branch grafted onto a different family tree. Adopted. Not because his parents opted for a different destiny. He was 3 when it became a mixed drink of 1 part left alone and 2 parts tragedy. Started therapy in 8th grade. Had a personality made up of tests and pills. Lived like the uphills were mountains and the downhills were cliffs. 4/5 suicidal, a tidal wave of antidepressants, and an adolescent being called pauper. 1 part because of the pills, 99 parts because of the cruelty. He tried to kill himself in grade 10 when a kid who could still go home to mom and dad had the audacity to tell him, "Get over it." As if depression is something that can be remedied by any of the contents found in a first aid kit. To this day, he has a stick of TNT lit from both ends, could describe to in detail the way the sky bends in the moments before it's about to fall. And despite an army of friends who all call him an inspiration, he remains a conversation piece between people who can't understand. Sometimes being drug-free has less to do with addiction and more to do with sanity. We weren't the only kids who grew up this way. To this day, kids are still being called names. The classics were, "Hey stupid," "Hey spaz." Seems like every school has an arsenal of names getting updated every year. And if a kid breaks into school and no one around chooses to hear it, they make a sound. They're just background noise from a soundtrack stuck on repeat when people say things like, "Kids can be cruel," Every school was a big top circus tent. And the pecking order went from acrobats to lion tamers, from clowns to carnies, all of these miles ahead of who we were. We were freaks. Lobster claw boys and bearded ladies. Oddities, juggling depression and loneliness, playing solitaire, spin the bottle, trying to kiss the wounded parts of ourselves and heal. But at night, while the others slept, we kept walking the tightrope. It was practice, and yes, some of us fell. But I want to tell them that all of this is just debris left over when we finally decide to smash all the things we thought we used to be. And if you can't see anything beautiful about yourself, get a better mirror, look a little closer, stare a little longer, because there's something inside you that made you keep trying despite everyone who told you to quit. You built a cast around your broken heart and signed it yourself. You signed it, they were wrong, because maybe you didn't belong to a group or a clique. Maybe they decided to pick you last for basketball or everything. Maybe you used to bring bruises and broken teeth to show and tell but never told. Because how can you hold your ground if everyone around you wants to bury you beneath it? You have to believe that they were wrong. They have to be wrong. Why else would we still be here? We grew up learning to cheer on the underdog because we see ourselves in them. We stem from a root planted in the belief that we are not what we were called. We are not abandoned cars stalled out and sitting empty on some highway. And if in some way we are, don't worry, we only got out to walk and get gas. We are graduating members from the class of we made it. Not the faded echoes of voices crying out names will never hurt me. Of course, they did. But our lives will only ever always continue to be a balancing act that has less to do with pain and more to do with beauty.
Raise your hands again. How many people have either heard of or seen bullied? A lot of you. Okay, because we're gonna skip them, the bully part of it. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's on Netflix, it's free, it's a very, very good video. And what it is it's a documentary about 3 kids who were bullied. 2 of the kids are still alive, and they take actual footage of some of the cruel things the teenagers say to each other on the bus, in the hallways. And the 3rd student committed suicide. And it's his parents telling his story. If you haven't seen it, it's moving. Watch it. So here's the Abercrombie and Fitch comment that the CEO says about Abercrombie and Fitch. Just because we were talking about it. When asked why he refuses to make clothes for larger women, Abercrombie CEO Michael Jeffries responded, and it's tiny. In every school, there are the cool and popular kids, and there are the, hold on, this has got to be easier. I can blow it up. Maybe.
You have a gyro, you can turn it sideways.
Oh, I do. It's a Galaxy, but I can rotate. Good call. All right. So, in every school, there are the cool and popular kids, and there are the not so cool kids. We go after the cool kids. We go after the attractive, all-American kid with a great attitude and a lot of friends. A lot of people don't belong in our clothes, and they can't belong. Are we exclusionary? Absolutely. That's why we hire good-looking people and not outsiders. Because good-looking people attract other good-looking people, and we want to market to cool, good-looking people. We don't market to anything other than that.
So they pretty much just hire fake people that can afford, a nose job, a boob job, perfect skin.
Yep. How many people are born with abs the way that the Abercrombies have? You may.
Julia, come here. I don't want to sound like I'm saying anything dumb or anything.
Never.
Well, not dumb, but mean. But It sounds to me like they hire like stuck-up people to sell clothes to stuck-up people.
But we don't know that. We don't want to. We don't want to stereotype because we've never met them people.
I don't want anybody to take it
Right,
from this.
right. We've never met them people, so we really don't know. I have a friend who was born with a six-pack, and he had it all of his life. He still has it, and he's like 35. Not too many people get that lucky. And then I had a friend of mine respond to my post about what Michael Jeffrey said, and she said, although I do not agree with his comments, Abercrombie and Fitch were the only clothes that fit me because she was tiny. She was skinny. No matter how much she ate, she was tiny. And those clothes fit her body size the best. So she said, however, she doesn't agree with him, his clothing line does fit her body. So, I mean, there's two sides to every story. Now, just a show of hands, because I want you guys to understand how many people are truly bullied. I'm going to ask a question. If the question applies to you, I want you to raise your hand. How many people have ever been bullied about their weight? You're too skinny, you're too fat, you're too whatever. How many people have been bullied about their weight? How many people have been, hands down, how many people have been bullied about their ethnicity or their cultural background? The color of your skin, the color of your family member's skin? How many people have been bullied about your gender, whether you're a male or a female? Absolutely, Jordan, absolutely. How many people have been bullied about their sexual orientation? 2, 1. Sexual orientation, like who you date, gay, straight, bisexual, trans. How many people have been bullied about your economic situation, how much money you have or don't have? You're too rich, you're too good, you're too poor, almost everybody. How many people have been bullied about your appearance? Pimples, wrinkles, muscles, your height, your shape. Your boobs, your abs, your thighs, your ankles. How many people have been bullied?
How dare you have an 8-pack?
Everybody. Right? It can be good and bad. People who are jealous bully too. How many people in here have ever been verbally assaulted by a bully? Almost everybody. How many people have ever been physically harmed by a bully in an actual physical altercation or fight? How many people in this room have ever stood up to a bully? Excellent, excellent. And how many people in this room have been a silent witness to a bullying? Have seen it and done nothing? When you walk away, how does that make you feel?
Crap.
Terrible.
You feel like you could have done something.
Exactly. That's why I'm here. That's why. Because I not only have seen bullying, been bullied, and I've done bullying. My sister got picked on all the time we were in school. I was constantly fighting fights for her. When I would leave, I'd feel awful. Like, fighting is not the way to solve it. It really doesn't make you feel better.
Kill 'em with kindness, Corey.
What's
Kill 'em with
that?
kindness.
Kill 'em with kindness. Right.
Sword kindness.
I
want to name a
who
sword.
knows in here why people bully? Why do people bully?
They're jealous or
Feel bad about
Jordan.
themselves.
They're so low at, like, they could have problems at home that they're so low down on
Right,
the
who else?
inside and
Sorry, Jordan. You're not done. Go ahead.
that, like, they bully people to get them lower so they have a little higher height on someone.
Yeah, Hannah.
I feel like some people may be abused at home and they just they get it from their family and say well, they're never bullied or anything. They never
Like
feel
it's
the
all
pain
they
that I feel. Maybe they should feel the pain that I feel.
That's all they know.
Correct. Bullies, we are not born bullies. People are not born to treat somebody shitty, mean, cruel. We're not born that way. It's something you learn. It's something that you saw, something that your family. If you come from a home where there's, now this doesn't mean all kids that come from homes like this, but if you're at a home that you can't eat without being told, you can't use the bathroom without being told, you don't shower unless you're told, your parents pick out your clothes, they're screaming and hollering, they're always busy doing other things, they never have time to listen. You go to school and you try to take back the little bit of control that you're not getting anything at home. That produces bullies. Physical abuse. Kids who go at home see their moms or dads fighting, or aunts and uncles fighting, or grandpa and grandmas, or sisters and brothers, or neighbors, babysitters, daycares. People who see fighting, you install that. The only reason that people bully is because something is hurting inside them. Now, what if a bully came up to you and they're picking on you and you say, hey, I'm really super sorry that things are, not so great for you at home. Do you need a friend? Do you need somebody to talk to? That bully is probably going to go, how does he or she know that I have issues at home? And who are they going to tell? So you're kind of twisting it on them. You're kind of making them think, ooh, they're trying to pick on you to gain power. But if they think you know their story, they automatically will lose power. Automatically. Because they don't want everybody to know what's going on at home. So that makes a bully. How many people in here have never been bullied? Never once. Who did not raise their hands to one of the questions I asked? So sometimes when people get bullied, they're silent. They don't say anything. They don't do anything about it, but they take it home. They harbor that pain. Just talk about it, people. If you're bullied, talk to somebody, because guaranteed that your friend or your friend's friends have been bullied, and you guys can figure out a way together. Strength and power comes in numbers. The more people that work together to stand up to a bully, the less bullies you'll have. I guarantee you. Jordan.
Like the other day or whatever, yesterday or whatever,